Hi guys, welcome to the Friday Feeling Deadline stream. I hope you're all doing good. Let me know if you can hear some music. I've put some music in this week. Let me know if it's too loud or not. I can always turn it down if it's annoying you guys. So yeah, let me know on that one. Now that's why I'm a little bit kind of later than I was meant to be, because I was just having a little kind of play around to get some music in, get us in that Friday feeling. You know, most of you guys will be potentially finishing up for work now these days, so ready for the weekend, looking good. But before we kind of smash into the up and coming game week, I just wanted to take a moment to revel in my 142 points this week. I mean, I'm massively chuffed. Probably my best score ever in FPL, like ever. I've been in a 100 club, you know, a few times, but 142 is pretty massive for me. And I did take a -4, so it was like probably net 138. But no, we will gloss past that. I think if I got to the 150, for instance, and I'd taken a -4, then I'd be a bit more like, oh no, like hate that. But yeah, you know, it's all good, and just feeling like it was a nuts game week, wasn't it, guys? Like, how crazy did game week 26 turn out to be? I mean, we had, you know, last minute wildcarders popping off, we had free hitters, we had triple captainers, and to be honest, so many of us did really well, and so many of us got into the 100 club. So for that, I just got to kind of tip my hat and say, you know, it was a great game week for most of us. I'm going to just lower the camera here and pull it down a bit. You know, so it was a great game week for most of us, and that's to be celebrated regardless. I don't think anybody should be feeling disappointed if you used your wild card and you didn't triple captain. I don't think you should be disappointed if you didn't use your wild card. I don't think we'll really know until we get to the end of the season. We look back on this moment and we say to ourselves, you know, did we do the right thing? You know, was it that wildcarders went too early and now they have too many of the wrong players in their teams for the rest of the season? And are they really going to get a monster haul like Salah did? We won't know that until the end of the season. Like, honestly, we won't know until we can look back at the end of the season and say, you know, that was the right call or that wasn't the right call. And, you know, and that's just about how it goes, really. And I think just looking in the chat, hey John, hey Dizzy, hey B Blair, chat box, welcome, thank you very much, thank you, appreciate that. 149 by B Blair, well done, beating me. John W got 138 with a -8 but still a red arrow. Yeah, I mean, that is what's absolutely nuts, isn't it? Is that even like the massive scores, people were still getting red arrows. Thankfully for me, it was a green arrow, so I'm an overall rank now of 68k, and that sees me up now from 122 game weeks ago. So I think I rose up to 80k, around 80k last game week, and then have made a jump up to 68 this game week. So it was a green arrow for me, feeling pretty happy with that. You know, it's green arrows and you take it and you run, don't you, and you move on to the next. So with that, let's have a look at what my team is shaping up like for the coming week. So this is currently how my team looks. I've already done Veghurst in for King. Now, I hear today that King is fine and that he's been in training. So in terms of actually kind of being well and able to play, King, unless he's rotated, should be fine to do that. In terms of just form, though, I didn't want him in my team anymore, and I desperately wanted to, I guess, just go after the double game week for Burnley, and I had no Burnley players whatsoever. And I think at the moment I am not free hitting. So at the moment, the way things stands, I am not like pressing that free hit button. I think I'm the only one who's not. But yeah, for the moment, I'm not. So this is where the conversation comes in as to what I'm actually going to do. So I've already done my one free transfer of King to Veghurst, but as you can see, I have Trent, Salah and Saka on the bench, who obviously all not playing this week. No Liverpool, no Arsenal this week. Webster, unfortunately, did look as if he was going to be making it back for the Aston Villa game, but has had a knockback in training, which is really frustrating for me because especially as he came in for Dawson a couple of game weeks ago on David Monday's advice, and Dawson has outscored him now the last 2 game weeks and is now, and Webster is now injured, whereas having, Dawson would have allowed me to have one less problem this week. The other problem I have, obviously, is Trashard, as I am now affectionately calling him. I have had Trossard since the first double game week, and he has done absolutely naff all for me. So I think most of the team lineups on Fantasy Football Scout and places are suggesting that Trossard starts this week. So that's something for me to bear in mind. However, the press conference said that there were no fresh injury concerns. There was no problems with any more players, so that would suggest Trossard is okay, or Trashard is okay to play. However, there was an allusion to some illness in the camp, which suggests the big C word, and because of obviously player discretion around health and fitness, they're not divulging who those people who have the big C might be. So I don't know if Trashard is one of those people. So my plan is to do the hop on, hop off with Salah this week. So what I'm planning to do at the moment, if I go to my transfers, is to do Salah out and get Son in, because I could avoid Spurs this week and I could just ignore that they exist and hope for the best. I mean, their first game, brilliant. Second game, not so much. So I could absolutely just close my eyes and think, pretend that they are no longer kind of exist. and then this means I leave Salah exactly where he is. But doing this means I get to keep my free hit, but cover some of the big players, I guess, people are getting in on that free hit. So, your Veghurst and your Son. But also maintaining some of the players that I'd like to keep in my team, like Bowen, for instance, Cancelo. I mean, most people have those people on a free hit anyway, but yeah. This then means I'd be playing Jimenez, Dennis, Veghurst, Trossard, Son, Fernandez, Bowen, Trent, Cancelo, Cancelo, Kilman, Livramento. Got to hope Livramento starts, and obviously De Gea in defence. This would be for a -4. My big dilemma here is whether or not to take a -8 this week. So I think I've pretty much decided, unless I hear some early team news about Southampton that Livramento is benched, that might push me to the free hit. I think it probably would, because that would potentially be a step too far for me to try and cover both, Webster, Trossard, Livramento, all of that. It might push me to kind of hit the free hit button. But just at the moment, I'm pretty decided that I'm not going to free hit. So with that in mind, it's just whether or not to take a -8 this week or a -4 next week. So if I just quickly reset that team, I'll show you what I have a rough idea of what I'm kind of thinking for next week, so you guys can have a little look. So this hasn't updated yet because it pulls the data from last game week. So this is FPL.team if anyone is interested. So yeah, let's take Salah out and put Son in. So I know I'm quite like Maverick on this. I think most content creators are just hitting the free hit, and that's either, I think, because they wildcarded last game week and so they have lots of United and Arsenal and so need to cover that by free hitting, or I think those that didn't will maybe have dead-ended some people into their team, like Lacazette and people like that, potentially Saka, and just have lots more Arsenal and Liverpool than they were thinking. So they're going to free hit now, take advantage of this game week, and beyond that, then they'll likely wildcard. So I think I'm a little bit kind of Maverick here with doing the selling Salah move. Salah is 0.2 to buy back. Hopefully a few people will sell him this week in panic in order to kind of try and get a team out this week, which might help him drop one. I doubt enough will sell for that to happen, but it'd be nice if it did. So if I got Son in for Salah, this is what the team would look like this week for a -4. A little bit of debate about whether to captain Son or Weghorst. Probably will go with Weghorst just because it's the double game week. But yeah, I mean, I'll ask you guys what you think in the chat in a second and see what you think. But this is what I'm thinking. However, with that kind of little bit of doubt in my head about Trossard, that little bit of doubt in my mind about Livramento, I'm very, very tempted to take a -8. Now, this is massive. If I take a -8, it is going to drop me probably into the 70k mark. Around the 70k mark, I would have thought. That's before the game week's even started. And then free hitters who have done their team for free will effectively, be getting a free team and a much better team than me for the week. So, and I would imagine there's going to be a fair few around me at this rank that will be kind of doing that. So it really does put me at a disadvantage taking a -8 this week. However, I would likely be selling Trossard next week anyway. The main issue is who to go for. So I think it was always going to be, for me, when I sold Trossard, it was always going to be for Rafinha, Coutinho, or James Ward-Prowse, given the fixtures that have fallen. Now, I really like Ward-Prowse's fixture this week, the Norwich fixture, but am I thinking he's going to smash it out of the park? I probably prefer, Brozier or Adams, so not convinced there. Coutinho, I really like Coutinho. I think Aston Villa have been a bit off it the last few weeks. Rafinha, on the other hand, has looked really good. So I think if I was going for it this week, despite him having Spurs, I would switch Trossard out for Rafinha, and this would be a -8. But it does hopefully give me the security of a start. I think whatever the situation was with Rafinha not starting a game week or two ago, or coming off coming on at half time, wasn't based around any kind of injury. It was just based around a situation with the manager, and I feel like that's been sorted now, or at least I hope it's been sorted. And he's looked really brilliant in the last couple of matches that he's played. And with that in mind, he is Leeds' best player, and I think they need him. So I think in terms of game time, he is potentially a lot more secure than what Trossard is. So that would make this team, I think, look a lot better this game week. Again, this is a -8 though, so this is kind of a bit bat-shizzle. However, next week, what it also does is really strengthens what my team looks like next week. So of course, I'm going to need Salah back. So my one transfer next week would be to get Salah back via Bruno. I have 1.7 in the bank, so whatever happens then in terms of prices and falls, hopefully I have that covered. At this point, you shouldn't really be considering price too much. We're just too much at the end part of that season to really be worrying about that. Now, obviously, the Livramento situation is very much going to depend on whether, Livramento starts this week, how he looks, all of that jazz. But this would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double game week players. Now, I'm not going to be up there with the likes of, the 8s, the 9 double game week players that some free hit teams will do, some wildcarders will do. But what it does mean potentially is that I don't have to wildcard. At this point, I have a decision to make. If I am wildcarding, then I've probably taken the -8 for nothing, apart from the fact that Rafinha would potentially be in my wildcard, so I've kind of got him a week earlier. Other than that, I haven't really gained anything. I mean, obviously, if an injury happens or something like that, then yeah, fair enough. However, what the -8 does, it potentially allows me to get through game week 28 without, again, wildcarding or free hitting, which, I don't want to push my chips too far down the line. I don't want it to be a situation where I've left them too long that they don't become helpful anymore. So I think it will very much depend on this week's results as to whether I hit the button. So if I got a big red arrow this week, I will just wildcard. There'll be so many people wildcarding game week 28 that I think I'll just follow suit as well and get the best juice out of the wildcard. Whilst my team is performing, if it muddles through, it's just a small red or even better, potentially a tiny green arrow, then happy days. I will just give it another week. I mean, if I have to wildcard 29 to bench boost in game week 30 in a blank game week, but be set up potentially for 33 and 36, the big doubles where I could potentially bench boost in one of those weeks, that kind of feels like hopefully I'll be able to draw back anything I've missed this game week. So yeah, it's kind of a rough thought process. It isn't this is my chips, they are set in stone, this is what I'm doing. And I think this is where I'm a little bit kind of different to a lot of content creators, is that I'm allowing myself to be a little bit flexible. I haven't just gone, this is my plan and I am straightforward for it, all guns blazing. I have no other options. It's this or nothing, So whether or not that's a good thing, I really don't know. But as you can see already, if I was to do the -8 this game week, then I have a bit of a benching headache next week. I'm obviously going to want to play Saka against Watford, so maybe Weghorst drops to the bench. I mean, Trent will have to be played, so potentially Bowen goes, because he's potential, because against Liverpool. I guess that will all depend on how he looks this week. Webster, I shouldn't imagine will be back, so he's somebody I'm going to have to push down the line until a potential wild card. So that's obviously ignore captain and vice captain. I assume I'd have my captaincy on Salah, my vice captain on. So that's what next game week could look like with one free transfer. So the other option I have is that I pretty much go with Trossard this week, and I put him out there and hope that he does well. And next game week I take the -4 to switch him to whoever I feel like is best at that time. So it gives me, by playing Trossard this game week, it gives me one more look on whether I want to go Coutinho, whether I want to go Rafinha, Ramsey, somebody like that. However, getting Rafinha this week bolsters my team, but I'm taking a big hit in a week where people will not be taking those kinds of hits, so I'll already be on the back foot with that. And I guess depending, let's just say I go Rafinha today, and I somehow managed to scrape through with a green arrow, then if I wanted to be risky and take a -4 next week whilst getting Salah in via Bruno, I could do Bowen to another double game week player like Coutinho if I'm really liking the look of him, if Bowen has dropped off form, or if Dennis isn't looking good. I'm not kind of so set in stone on keeping him that I wouldn't consider moving him to somebody like a Brozier or an Adams up front. So a lot to think about. I want to get your guys' thoughts in the chat. So, wow, well done, John. That's cool. Ross, welcome. Son, Kane, Skip, Doherty, and Lloris have all been captured by the enemy. Which content creator to get points or let's oh, I don't know. They're all pretty good, aren't they? Which FPL asset is the biggest liability on a night out? I mean, they all have their moments, don't they? Really. After these random questions, loving it. Oh, well, none of them probably. They've all got enough of their own money. They don't my measly £2, do they? Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please do like and subscribe. It means a lot to us content creator, and you should get something coming up on the screen if you do that as well. So that'll be cool. Gatonga, hello Nim, kindly rate my free hit team: Pope, Cancelo, Laporte, me, Son, Fernandez, Coutinho, Bowen, Mahrez, Vegas, and Brozier. I don't think it's like template, but I really, really like it. I like the fact that you've kept faith in Bowen. I do like that. And Mahrez, you've got Mahrez in there, so you're taking, like, you've gone like City defense instead of City attack, which, I think a lot of people are going attack, but City defense has been brilliant this season, so that's a good shout. Yeah, I like it, especially if you're chasing. I do like that a lot. She says -8 next week. Are you asking me, or are you asking for yourself? Brian says, playing you in the Elite Super Cup this week. Here to spy. Wow. Now you know. Potential -8. I think you're in good stead, Brian, unless you're thinking of doing a -8 yourself. Sana, I am so confused whether I should free hit or not. I have 2 free hits. I have 2 Arsenal, 2 Liverpool with Semedo and King injured. I would free hit Sana, says John. Yeah, I think that's quite a lot of people out, isn't it? So you have 4 and then another 2, so 6 players out. It's almost half your team. like of your whole squad and half of your playing team. So I think it's probably free hit territory. Team is Sanchez, Cucurella, Dawson, Semedo, Cancelo, TAA, Bowen, Salah, Ramsey, Bruno, Brozier, King, Laka. So I think like the kind of template free hit team is Pope or Foster in goal. Then if you're going Foster, 2 Burnley defenders and Cancelo. If you're not going Foster, then it tends to be 1 Burnley defender, Cancelo, and Livramento. The midfield seems not like I've looked at the free hits much this week. It seems to be Bruno, Son, and then 2 City midfielders. So whether that be KDB and Mahrez or Sterling and Mahrez, and then there is a bit of kind of, some people will have gone Bowen there and not gone, you know, with an extra City attacker. And then the front three is pretty much as nailed as it comes in the free hit scenario, and that is Brozier, Kane, and Weghorst. So I hope that helps. A Summerjet. Hi, I'm on a free hit. Which sounds better? Me, Tarkowski, Fraser, Foster, or Connor Roberts, Pope, Bednarak? I don't think you need to worry about price necessarily on a free hit. Once you free hit, that's done and done. So I think probably the first one. Triple captain got 134 points this week. Well done, good job. Hearts in the chat. 100 club. Whoop whoop. Joining me there on that one. Best 3 Burnley players to use, says Evan. Well, I think just out of sheer percentage, then Weghorst is probably going to be up there. And then Pope and me, probably the most nailed. Tarkowski is back from COVID, so he should be fine. Stay away from the midfield, I think. If you're on a free hit, go Weghorst, and then, yeah, and then 2 defenders. Because I think Cornet will potentially be out this game, may make the second game, but I think if you're on a free hit, you're probably not going to want to kind of take a punt on that, are you really? John says he's out of all of the cups. I think I'm out of all the cups. The Super Cup is separate. I think. I don't think, John, that it's a I don't think it's part of the official cups. There, is it? Brian, I don't think it is. I think it's yeah, I think it's one of the extra bits and pieces that's going on in the background. Okay, Ross, okay. He says, oh, hang on. Kurt would like, yeah, he would like those questions. He really would. Ross, serious question. Okay, serious face on. With St. Maximin possibly out, is it time for Wood to finally score? I mean, it's probably about time a couple of game weeks ago. However, he hasn't done yet. So I'm not sure if it's coming. However, you know, I didn't walk the Zaha Road last game week. Got a bit of sass for that from my stream. I did say good luck to anyone who goes down that road, and fair play, my good luck went a long way because he scored 2 goals. So you know, just saying, is not all bad. So you know, it's about time 2 weeks ago, I think, is the honest question. Any news on if Semedo is fit to play? Pavuk, no, Semedo's not playing. We just got an update, literally, I think, before I came on air on the Wolves website that said that Semedo's out. So I think, yeah, there's your answer. Is there just 4 confirmed defo on fixtures in game week 30? Blair, yes, because we need to have the FA Cup fixtures midweek next week to know who, like, basically who's available to play in game week 30. So at the moment, there's just the 4 that aren't in the FA Cup at the moment that can definitely play. So until we have those FA Cup fixtures, which I believe are midweek next week, I'm pretty sure of that. That's why a lot of people are wildcarding the back end of next week, because they'll have all of those free hit fixture team news, and hopefully should, with the likes of good people like Ben, have a rough idea of which fixtures go in where and who's playing where exactly. So I think that's pretty much why, you know, why a lot of people are holding on to that free hit and those wildcards for, you know, for that particular situation there. How you all doing on Friday? Like, it's almost, you know, it's Friday evening. Great. How are we all doing? Start Jose Sa or Dubravka, in my opinion, Shafiq. Who have Newcastle got? Brentford. I think I rate Sa more, but it's the Semedo situation that would worry me slightly. Will that weaken that Wolves defence? I'm not sure. It may do. That's the problem. I think it could do. It could weaken that. Could weaken that Wolves defence, which worries me slightly because I have Kilman. But I think I prefer Sa. But I think he'll get saves even if he concedes. So probably just edge Sa. I have Cornet. Brian says I have Cornet and Dalot in my starting 11 with 3 non-players on the bench. Already made my free transfer. Should I move one of them off for a -4? Well, I mean, if you're playing me in the Super Cup, Brian, I think you should take a -12, maybe a -30. And then, you know, we can come at each other at a level pegging field. But is there news? What is the concern about Dalot? I mean, I've seen a lot of people worrying that he may or may not start. Is there something I might have missed there? Because as far as I'm aware, he's nailed down that place, hasn't he, at United? So I'm not sure, kind of, yeah, that's probably one less player you need to worry about. Cornet then is just completely up to you, I think, on that one. Mong, welcome. Guys, if there's anybody new here, please do like and subscribe, because you'll really be helping, you know, somebody like myself out. I'm on 15 likes for the stream, so let's try get it up to 20 by the end of the stream. That'd be really, really great. Okay, and I'm here. I give, you know, Q&As, team news, any updates that I get as I'm live. Last time I was live, the double game weeks got announced, so it was pretty crazy. It was a lot of fun, so yeah. Mon says, I have only 10 active players this game week and I have both free hits. Should I go for a free hit this week? I think if you have 2, then there aren't many weeks left now to use them. So have you used your wild card? I think is probably what I would ask you, Mon. If you haven't, then I think you can use the free hit this week and go for it. And then you've always got that spare free hit in the bank. I don't think there's as many blanks in Game Week 33 now as there once was going to be. So it's just whether you'd like to use those free hit chips in, say, double game weeks where you could potentially kind of do the whole thing that a lot of content creators did last week with their wildcard, which is, you know, really load in on those games, you know, and pretty much have 22 players for both double game weeks of your absolute choice, because you don't have to worry about, you know, dead ending into them, making sure you've got the right players going into them, all of that sort of stuff. However, I feel like this week is a good free hit week, you know, beyond that, because, you know, if you got Liverpool and Arsenal players missing, then, you know, it's a good way to get around it without having to worry about selling them. In my case, I'm only losing 0.2 in Salah to jump off and jump back on again. And I'm just kind of hoping, because I want Son long term, hopefully anyway, that I'll be doing the right thing by doing that. But yeah, I think if you've got 2, this week is a good week to free hit. It's a very kind of conventional thing to do this week. I think if you've only got 1 like myself, it's a little bit more difficult. You might want to use one in the blank game weeks. Yeah, I mean, the only thing is that you have 10 active players. What I would ask you is, do you feel like you could get 1 more player in via somebody like I'm doing, like Salah to Son and then Bruno to Salah next game week? Could you do something similar with one of the players, which I'm assuming is Arsenal or Liverpool, that you could do and save the free hit? And then it just gives you that bit more flexibility down the line. And if that's the case, I would say maybe hold on to it. Because, I mean, I think 10 active players is good. It's strong, my friend. It's strong. Is Reguilon going to play next few game weeks? John, I hear that he had the big C and that he no longer has it. So I would imagine that he will start to get some game time now. So I don't know if that helps you or not. Whether or not he 100% starts in the next game week, that I don't know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one, that one. What time we're at? Wow, we're getting closer and closer to the deadline here, aren't we? 4:30. Let's just check in on the old group chats, make sure we've not heard anything that let's just check that there's nothing come in that not seeing much. Yeah, I'm not seeing any news on the old chat so far, so at the moment I think we're all good. I'm not seeing any double game week announcements like this crazy time last week so far. So far, doesn't mean they're not coming, but so far I haven't seen them. Okay, where are we? Back to the chat. Mon, I have a wild card too. I mean, you're in pretty good shape. I would say you know, you could go for it this week, but I still would be quite tempted with 10 active players to try and muddle through. Not gonna lie. Oh, Dalot didn't play the last league game or Champions League game. Oh, okay, so that's the worry. Wow, I completely, because he's not my team, I think I've just completely kind of glossed past that. Yeah. Maybe then. Maybe if we've got Cornet and Dalot, maybe a -4. Not going to be terrible to help you out there. Arba, hey, would you take a -4 to field 11 players or free hit? I still have my 2 free hits plus wildcard still. Yes, that's pretty much what I was saying to Mon there, Bar, is I think it's very much personal preference now with these situations. I think if you've got you've got 10, you know, I think you've got 9 to 11 players this week, and you can get 11 players with a -4. Feels like a lot for a free hit. especially if you've already covered some of the big players. Now, this is the caveat I would say in that. As long as you already own the likes of either Son or Kane, you have Weghorst, or can get Weghorst, you have Bruno in your team, and I would probably say some sort of Wolves defence and City defence. As long as you've got those covered, I think you can get away with it. Genuinely, I do. And I the thing is, it's whether you feel like you're going to gain 20 points by doing it this week. So that's how I try and look at my free hits. So if I were to free hit this week, I'm not genuinely sure. It would take for Burnley to keep 2 clean sheets, which they probably will now have said that. It would take for the likes of Sterling or Mahrez to really pop off. And it would take for Kane to pretty much do all of the work and Son to do nothing. For me to free hit in confidence that I'm going to gain at least 20 plus points this week off of the team I already have. And this is why it's so team dependent. So from the team I already have, which I'll pull back up for you guys so you can see. Hopefully, let's come back to that one. So this is my team currently, and my plan currently, for those of you guys that have only just joined, so hopefully you can see that, is to sell Salah to Son in the hop on, hop off movement. And so I would then put Sonny in ahead of Webster, and then I am potentially considering a -8, which would be Trossard to Rafinha, but that is for a long-term move that may or may not see me not have to wildcard next game week. So that's what I'm thinking. That's my team. Obviously, if I hear any early team news that Livramento isn't starting, then I may be very, very tempted to hit the free hit button, because even though Webster's moving to my bench, I know that Webster is out, so he is not coming in for Livramento if Livramento does not play. So that would be a concern of mine. So I think I'm pretty set on not free hitting unless I hear that Livramento isn't starting. If Livramento isn't starting, then I will probably do a very quick, very panicked last minute free hit, and I will probably hate myself for it, because I would much rather have that free hit for further down the line. But yeah, especially as I'm considering taking a -8, it's already a lot of points that I'd be losing. I guess I could keep Trossard in, and my -8 could be moving Livramento onto a Burnley defender, but then I am stuck with a Burnley defender until I wildcard, which, depending on how other things go, you know, could be a lot sooner than what I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I will just be doing either a -4, which will be getting Son in for Salah and playing him ahead of Webster, and leaving Trossard in, and praying that for once in his life he can do something. Or I will be playing the long game and going for selling Trossard for somebody like Rafinha, and hoping that that Spurs Leeds game is very open, and that he can grab a little something to repay the hit, and that next game week he can then go on, hopefully in a double game week, to get a little more. And I think he will be in a lot of wildcard teams anyway, Rafinha, and not only from last game week, but in the coming game week. In fact, let's have a look at his percentage owned, because I should imagine that will have gone up a fair bit since I checked it midweek when he was on the watch list, the scout watch list for us. So he's 14.6%. Not massive, but still enough to hurt. I would imagine of that 14.6%, a good percentage of that will be around my rank, because I think a lot of people will have got him in on that wild card last week and will be doing so kind of ahead of the coming week. Oh, we've got a few more people in now. Hi guys, 28 likes. Let's try hit that 30. Come on, let's do it. Friday evening, 30 likes. Come on, let's be having you. Also, if you haven't subbed to the channel, then please do so. Hopefully you will end up popping up on screen, and you can also you know, potentially end up being in a video as well, because my latest subs always pop up on my videos. So yeah, cool. Game week 27 transfer deadline in 2 hours. That is a nice warning there. Thank you very, very much, Omar. Thanks for letting the peeps know. Don't tell them all. You want them all to forget. No, I'm joking. It'd be terrible doing that, to do a deadline stream right now, wouldn't it? Sultan, hi. What do you think is best? Doubling from Man City defenders or midfielders? If I was on a free hit, I would be tempted to go attack. And that is, in fact, let's check if Emma has done her Man City prediction yet, because she's usually pretty... Oh, thank you. New sub, new sub. Thank you, Patur. I hope I've said that right. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Nymfam. Jump the Wave. Everyone go check out Jump the Wave if you want City news. She's really good. Okay, 1 hour ago. Here we go. So, predicted lineups. Cancelo, 96. Stones, 64. Diaz, 92%. Laporte, 52%. Walker, 84%. Rodri, 100%. Sterling, 92%. Mahrez, 96%. Silva, 84%. Foden, 60%. It's not looking like Foden is looking good to start. Jesus, 4%. KDB, 100%. I would be really tempted looking at because she's usually pretty spot on her percentages. I would really be tempted to go Sterling and Mahrez, or KDB and Mahrez, if I'm honest. Just looking at that, I really, really would be tempted. How do I know how many free hits I have left? That's a great question. So, somewhere on the channel, and I think it's in your View Game Week history, it will tell you, yeah, if you go to your View Game Week history, it'll tell you what chips you've already used. So this season we had 2 free hits. You'll have 2 wildcards, one for the beginning of the season, one for the end of the season. So if you only use 1 wildcard, you'll have another wildcard left. If you've only used 1 free hit, you'll have another free hit left. There's only 1 triple captain and there's only 1 bench boost. So if you've used either of those, then they're gone. Hope that helps. I hope you can see the screen just about. But yes, it's you go to your game week history. Yes, absolutely, Mon. Praying for Ukraine. Chris, welcome, Chris. John Lee finally came back and came on for Smedo last week, so Wolves' defence shouldn't be any worse off. That's true. Then again, Arsenal did score twice in his 29 minutes on the pitch. Oh my gosh, I was, as an Arsenal fan last night, you can imagine. And what was weird as well was that I had Ramsdale, I had Kilman, I had Saka, and I had Jimenez, so I really needed it to be a game that was like all out, like full on. But despite so many people going for Lacazette on their wildcard around me, when that goal went in, okay, just that few seconds before when that Saka goal was saved, I was like, no, stop giving Salah more save points, like only like shoot if you're gonna like score, basically. And then Laka kind of got that goal via you know, I think it was Salah in the end, own goal. Oh, those are moments where FPL goes out of the window and you're just like, because Arsenal really needed that win. I mean, for us to even potentially get top four, we desperately, desperately needed that win last night. I mean, a draw at least, but that win with some really tough fixtures coming up was needed. So I may have gone a little crazy, little bat shizzle. It wasn't quite take the top off moment like the triple captain Salah, but yeah, it was still pretty after there. But yeah, I already have Bruno Cancelo would take out Salah for Son and Edward for the Burnley striker Weghorst. Yeah, I like that. I mean, covering 3 of the top players that I think will be in most wildcards this week. So I think it's pretty decent. Ishak, yes, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Burnley have double game week soon. Yes, they do. So that's why a lot of people are free hitting. So those that wildcarded last game week and got a lot of Arsenal and Liverpool in, that's why they're free hitting, because they'll then be able to carry those people forward. In my case, I've got 4 between the 2 teams, but one of those is a goalkeeper, and I say thankfully covered by De Gea, but I mean, is anyone really covered by De Gea at the moment? Ugh, guy is just, yeah. Apart from the fact that he's rotated particularly well the last 2 game weeks, I'm not over the moon about owning him. But yeah, I think you can kind of see where I'm going with that, is that with only 4 out, kind of happy to sell on. Obviously, I'd much rather keep Salah and not lose the point too, but I'm never keeping Bruno for Man City onwards anyway. He's done his job for me. He's got me the points I needed this season. Very much doubt I want him going forward long term. So even if I kept Salah this week, I'd most likely, because of Spurs, be wanting Son going forward anyway. So Bruno would be funding that anyway next game week. So it just feels like it's the right way around it. It feels like it's right that I go Salah to Son this week and then Bruno back to Salah next game week. But everyone, that's the beauty about this particular season, is that everyone gets to play it so differently, and everyone gets to do their own thing. And I think it is so team specific and so many chips left that, to be honest, I think if I was 150k, 200k, I'd probably just hit the free hit this week, because I want the extra 20 points that I think it might make me now. Being where I am, being around the 60k mark, I'm not loving taking a free hit, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I'm much further ahead at this point than I was hoping to be. And that's only because, if anyone knows me, is that in the last couple of seasons, so I had some really good seasons very early doors when I started playing FPL, and I had 2 FPL teams, 2 different accounts, and I didn't know that you weren't meant to do that until, you know, and I'm talking a long time ago now, 5-6 years back. So when I decided to get serious about FPL, and then I found out that you're not meant to have 2 teams, I ditched one of those teams. And of course, not knowing that OR was such a thing, I ended up getting rid of the team that had all the really good OR finishes on it. And I kept the one that I had all the good mini league finishes in, which again, I just didn't know was a thing back then. Oh, new sub. Welcome, Linda, to the Noon fam. Thank you very much. Lovely. Thank you. And yeah. And so I managed to chuck away really good ranked teams, because I think I'd got maybe into top 10k a couple of times with that team. It's a bit ouchy. So this particular account doesn't have the best record. But the last couple of years since content creating has probably been some of my worst. And that hasn't necessarily been all down to the fact that content creating really does fry your brain in terms of you take on so much information that you cannot often see clearly what your own thought process and your own mind, what you want to do. And it's much easier to answer questions for other people and be a very diplomatic for those than it is for your own team, because you're putting loads of pressure on yourself to do well. So this season has been all about getting back to basics, back to playing it really safe until a certain point in the season and then going all out. And I'm kind of at that, I'm quite close to that certain like bit where I go, okay, I've played it safe now, I'm going to go all out. But I just feel like if I can eke out this game week, then I can just get those FA Cup games next midweek and know what's going on, and then boom, hit it with a chip strategy. Question is, do I take the bat shizzle crazy 8 with potentially wildcarding next week? Or, without knowing, might I just fall into something brilliant without needing to wildcard, regardless of taking the -8? That, my friends, is the question. Okay, I'll finish up soon because I'm pretty sure somebody else will be wrapping up the streams and stuff. So I will I'll just try and get through some more of these questions for you guys. Sorry, that kind of makes me look like I'm looking over, but my chat's over here. So Sun or Veghurst for captain? Ahmed says, I'm still deciding on this one myself. So if I get Sun in, I'll have both of them and I'll be deciding between the two. At the moment, it's on Veghurst. Do you know what it is? It's that whole second bite of a cherry. So it's like, if Sun plays and he does really bad, you're like, oh, well, that's it. My captain's gone. If Veghurst plays first game, potentially doesn't do so well, you're like, oh, well, he could still potentially get some points in the second half. I mean, it's Leeds. And this is why I want to take a hit for Sun this week, is that I could totally see Kane and Son going big at Leeds. The only way Leeds know how to play is attack. So, yeah, I mean, I do not hate anyone going for Son or Kane this week as captaincy. I'm just a sucker for a double game week player. So I think I'll probably end up on Veghurst. She says, with 10 minutes to go, switching it back to Sun. Come on, Sonny. No, it is a tough one this week. I think I'm pretty sure the captaincy polls will be, let's have a look actually. I doubt you guys will be able to, but I'll just quickly pull up, the captaincy poll. Who should I go for? Let's just go for someone random, someone not affecting the results. I'm going to go De Bruyne. Okay, so Veghurst on the Fantasy Football Scout website has 34.71% of the votes with 7,780 votes, and then Kane is behind him with 14.62% of the votes, so less than half, and 753 votes. And then Son, 14.4%, 742. So Veghurst looks like the kind of go-to captain, and it will just simply be because he's got that double game week, and he did really well last game week, and he's facing some of the worst defences in the league right now. But Spurs are Spurs and Leeds are Leeds. So honestly, I'd love to be able just to give you a straightforward answer, but I'm not sure what I'm doing myself between Sun and Veghurst. probably be on Vegas just for the extra fixture. Don Archer is still struggling with the transfers. Hopefully John's right on it there. So yeah, he's pretty good. Curtis, Dalot or Brozier, who to bench? Dalot, without a doubt. Dalot out of those two. Play Brozier. Kent's Norwich, absolutely. If Brozier didn't play, if he got rest for some reason, then Dalot would come in anyway. But percentage-wise, there's going to be so many Dalot owners out there, and so many so many Brozier owners out there, and so many Brozier players that just play Brozier. Hope I get to say a lot of vouts when Veghurst scores this weekend. Do you know what? I don't even know if I'm saying his name particularly right, but I used to love how my buddy Fergie called him the tall man because he couldn't say Veghurst. So I'm hoping the tall man brings the goods, I have to admit. Sultan, no worries. Thank you for that. Daz, hopefully I kind of touched upon that. I think Kane, Son and Veghurst are the kind of top three. I'll probably go Veghurst for the double. As for Kane versus Son, that is a lot tougher. I have no easy way to get to Kane, but if I had him, I'd maybe just edge over him than Son. Oh, I say that, but I really love Son, so actually my bias for Son would probably put it on Son anyway, but Kane could go massive this week. Really scared about not owning him, actually. How highly owned is Kane? Let's have a look. %15.3%. Oof. That's you know, it's not awful, like compared to say 20% of Bruno, the 100% of Salah. How much? 10% now of Veghurst. Wow, he has jumped up. Son, that's who I was gonna check. %21.9%. So yeah, so Sonny is a little. Is he a little more highly owned? Did I just say? Yeah, so Son is way like 5% more owned than Kane is. Ooh, new subscriber. Welcome to the Nym fam, Oscar. Thanks, Oscar. Appreciate it. Yeah. Where am I at? What can you guys actually see on the screen? That's not very appealing, is it? There you go. That's my team. In all its awful non-free hit glory. Yeah, so hi ALG. William, hi, my team: De Gea, Semedo, Cancelo, Laporte, Marty, Foden, Son, Bowen King, Brozier, Jimenez. Bench blank. I have Semedo early in had a -8 for game week 27. Semedo and King are injured. Should I free hit? I think I probably would with that, William. I'm not sure how many free hits you have, but I think I probably would, because I'm not sure about Marty. I'm not sure Foden, especially seeing as Emma's a bit kind of iffy on Foden starting. King may, even if he is fit, but he may not start because he's just pretty much been not very good, but he is fit. So if that helps your decision, I don't know. Kamal, is Cornet fit? I believe he had an illness and that he will be back potentially for the second fixture, but not necessarily for the first. ALG, Brozier captain this weekend. Hey, I mean, I think Norwich have been slightly better at the back than what they have been previously, but I don't hate it. And he's another player that I'm a little bit nervous not to own this week. Donacha, I have 9 players playing this game week, including Kane. I have no Burnley players and only 1 free hit. Should I use it? I don't think so. I think you can get to 11 with a -4. You've got Kane. If you've got Bruno, you could probably get away with it. Hey, James, bat shizzle for the win. Amen. Let's do it. Tiger and Goon, I've pressed like. Thanks, buddy. Wow, 52 likes. Wow, get in. Let's try hit 60. Although I probably should go in the minute. This is probably asking a bit too much. 55. Let's do it. 3 more likes for 55. Let's do it. Abhinav, Fernandez down to Sancho so I can afford Mahrez and Sterling. Ooh. Oh, free hit. Yeah, why not? Do it. I think so, yeah. Charlie, if you didn't have Wolves, who would you get out for of Hwang or Jimenez? Jimenez never hauls. It's true, I have him. He never hauls. Hwang looked so good. I think I'd probably take a punt on Hwang. I think if you want to protect rank, then Jimenez is probably the best way to go. Projwell, welcome. Great stream as usual. Thank you, buddy. My big dilemma this week, starting one between Watkins and Gordon, been changing them every... Gordon's alive! Yeah, that one's tough. Oh, mate. I think that might be a get a coin out and hope that it leads you in the right direction. I don't think I have anything I can give you there that's going to help you decide whether or not to go one or the other. Bench Elanga or Cornet? I think I would bench Cornet. Quack quack, welcome Ducky, thank you. Ashish, looks like you are free hitting. I am not crazily at the moment, unless I hear something about Livramento. So for those that have just joined, my plan is to take a -4 or -8. I am mad, I know. I only have 1 free hit left, and I can get Son in for Salah, which would be my -4, and then I'm potentially considering either one of my defenders to a Burnley defender or Trossard to Rafinha, and I think I prefer the Trossard to Rafinha move, if I'm honest, for a potential -8, because I think I will potentially want Rafinha next game week anyway, and then that may allow me to push the wildcard down the road a little bit. Sorry for those of you that have been with me since the beginning, but it's always good just to keep people updated if they're new. So John says, Higgins, I would keep your free hit. And John, no worries, you've been with me since the beginning, buddy. Yeah, you deserve it. Chris, Palace and Leicester are statistically the 2 worst teams in the league defending set pieces. What that you say, Burnley have a 6'7" forward now. Mr. Tall Man, the Veg of the Burst. James, welcome, buddy. Welcome, James. Welcome, Stasi. Hi, Nim. It might be a week to try not to take on free hitters and focus on minimizing damage, knowing free hitters are likely to get the green arrow. Yeah, absolutely, buddy. That's why I'm still weighing up the -8 bit. So I think a lot of the team news is saying that Trossard's likely to start. It's just, I hate him. Mr. Trashard, I don't know if I can. He is living rent-free in my team. Okay, yes, will I be annoyed if I sell him and he actually gets something this week? Probably, and that is why I have to really weigh this up. However, I think if I do not go for Rafinha and he does something at Liverpool, especially wiping out my Trent clean sheet, then I may be more annoyed than the other way around. So I think that's the way to kind of look at it. Right, guys, it's 5 o'clock. We are an hour and a half till the deadline, so I will have to wrap up soon because I do need to go sort some stuff out before I then have my last minute panic over my team. So I'll just quickly finish up these last few chat questions, and then yeah, and then we'll we'll wrap it up. I'll go back to the sorry, losing my voice. Woo! The single game week graphic, just so you guys get to have a little look of that lineup so far. So you can see by putting Son in for Salah, I'd be taking Webster out, so that's a -4, and then yeah, deciding on the -8. ZH, yes. So this Klazbowski, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name properly, but let's just go with Cool. Or Cool. I actually did consider whether or not I may leave Son and just get Cool instead for Trossard. But that was when Webster was not injured or looking like he was going to be back this week, so it would have meant that I could have just gone for a bit more of a punt and not worried too much. I think he looks really good, and a lot of people tell me he looked better than Son did. I actually really like him as a punt, and I think he will be one of my watch list picks in the coming weeks. I think having Webster out, I don't think I want to do the double up on Spurs, although I may regret that. But yeah, I think the Salah to Son seems safer, especially with ownership. So I think that's probably why I'm thinking that. But I like him. He does seem to be playing. Leeds are terrible, as you say, on the left flank. I think he would be a really interesting punt, and I actually think if I was on a free hit, he could maybe sneak in ahead of Bowen if I was deciding between the two on my free hit. Syed, is it worth to sell Coutinho to get Mahrez? Ooh, this week you may be better. I'm only going to say may, because just because Coutinho hasn't been particularly on it last game week or two, it doesn't mean that he won't be. But Aston Villa have a double game week next game week, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's next game week that Villa double. Yeah, so Villa do double. Yeah, Villa double. They have Southampton and they have Leeds next week. So you will probably want Villa coverage next week. So I would probably say that's more of a short-term move than a long-term move. So probably not if you weren't free hitting. Okay. Shall I take a -8 to bring in Kane, Son, me for Salah, Antonio, and Soufal? Tiger. I think I probably would. As long as you can get back to Salah next week. Ooh, new subscriber. Welcome to the Nymfam Syed. Thank you very much. Or Syed. I think I probably would, as long as you can get back to Salah next game week, because you'll probably want him, Tiger, going forward. So as long as you can, then I probably would. It's a lot, but I think you're covering a lot with that -8, and I wish I could do that. Fair play to you. Haviz, is Saka going to be template for the rest of the season? His price of 6.5 seems too cheap, even against Wolves. I was seeing him make runs in behind and take lots of shots. Imagine versus bad teams. I think he will be a popular pick going forward. The one thing I did notice about Saka at the end of last night was that he was looking very tired. Where others were making a lot more runs, he was kind of just stopping and letting others make the runs. He's still really young, and it's a lot of games for us. So, yeah, I mean, whether or not he will actually kind of get loads of game time, I'm not sure, but he's in my team, and I'm pretty sure he'll be staying for the foreseeable. Glory, hi name, great work as always. Thanks, lovely. Syed says, buy liver for Dalla, or is it better to get Mahrez for Coutinho? I would sort out your Dalot problem. If people are saying he's not starting, then I think I'd be more likely, although Perraud is back. for Southampton. So people are saying that Livramento may have competition this week, especially with the cup, so you may be kept for that. So maybe hold out until early before the deadline and hope that you get a bit of news on whether Livramento is starting if you're going to make that move. James says Drossard, you mean? Yes, Drossard, Trashard, however you want to call him. I'm fed up of him, as you well know, because you're also as fed up as I am of him. Deviched, grey out for who? How much is grey? If I was going for a 6-something midfielder, which I'm assuming grey is, or is he 5 mil? Oh, he's Everton, isn't he? Not Leicester. Why am I going to Leicester? 5.5. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Maybe Martinelli? But it's not really going to help you much this week. Ramsey? I think probably Ramsey would be my call. Let's go 5-6. Midfielders. Yeah, I think like people like WILDCARDS and Martinelli and stuff not going to help you much this week. I think I'll probably go Ramsey if that's any help. I rage transferred Sarah in when Ramsdale conceded to Brentford. I have no free transfers and I have 11 playing, so I'm not taking hit or else I'd get him in. That's fair enough. Ty says I can, as I have Bruno, to get Salah. Thanks. Do it. Absolutely. I would do that. Yeah. Heartbeat. I'm going to get Salah back via Bruno next week myself. Obviously, it's a big hit, so just bear in mind that, yeah, and I would also think about when you're wildcarding, so obviously if you're going to -8 this week and then wildcard next week, it's not the best. I'm not going to say it can't happen because I may be doing it myself, but I'm just going to put it out there that yeah, just bear it in mind, obviously, that if you're going to wildcard out the back of it, then it's probably not best. But if you feel like you're going to get a couple of games out of those players and potentially not have to wildcard or anything, then go for it. Side says Liver going to start. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not privy to that information. I don't know if we'll get some early team news. I'm just hoping we do, because that would make a big difference as to whether I free hit or not. Okay, Meta Freedom. I currently have 9 players available for Gameweek27. Is it worth free hitting or just take a hit to get 11? The free hit seems like a waste this week. I think anything 9+ players, if you can do -4 this week, then I think it's fine to go for it. In some cases, I think it's even potentially fine to run with 10 men. So yeah, I think as long as you, like I said earlier, as long as you can cover some of the big hitters, you can cover either Kane or Son. You can cover Bruno, and you can cover Weghorst, Burnley defence, potentially, you know, as an extra slice on the cake, then I think you're good. But I think as long as you have Son or Kane, Bruno and Weghorst, you should be all right. Maybe even some City attack, you know, would be, again, bonus. DeReach says Trossard and Gray out for who? I don't know what prices you bought them at, buddy, but I think Ramsey for Gray and Trossard. Then if you're getting Ramsey, then I would say Trossard to either Rafinha, or if you wanted to take a punt, then James Ward-Prowse, but I think I'd probably lean on Rafinha. And I hope that helps you guys, because they both have double game weeks next week, to reach, so, and they both play this week, so hopefully long term that would really help with your problem. Okay guys, I am going to call it there so that I can go and check there's been no extra gossip, and I really appreciate everyone joining the stream. Thank you so much. 61 likes, that's amazing. Thank you all so much. I think we hit around 50 at one point watching, so you know, you are great, Nym fam. It's always very, very much appreciated, and I will be back Monday with my team selection, and then back towards the end of the week with another, if it's deadline, then deadline stream. If not, it'll be my 0.1 pre-deadline stream. So yeah, Thank you all so much. Thank you all for joining. Have an amazing weekend. I hope you smash it and get loads of green arrows, whichever way you decide to go. And wish me luck, because selling Salah and not free hitting and potentially taking a -8 is as bat shizzle as it comes. So yes, I really appreciate it. And again, thank you so much, John, and welcome to my moderator group. So thanks everybody. Catch you later. Nymfria out.